Have you had signs from the universe that you're on the right track? Hi, my name's Elizabeth Eleanor and I'm an intuitive empath. I'm doing 365 days here on YouTube, recording my stories, beliefs, and all of the magical things that have happened to me in the 27 years of my spiritual awakening, just to support those that are also on the journey and maybe just waking up now, or feeling a bit stuck in the journey and want to know, where am I going and what can I do to support myself to move to the next level? I'm the founder of the Ascendance Code, and I work with magical women to support them to attract their divine partner, because that's one of the things that's happened to me on my beautiful journey, is that I met a beautiful man on the beach in a fairy tale romantic experience, which I'm going to share a bit later. I've given little hints here and there through the days. Today is day 17, still at the start of this whole thing. And yeah, I met this beautiful man at the beach. My maiden name was Payne, Payne, and his last name is Makepeace. So what are the odds, right? They're those sort of things that happen to me on a regular basis, because the universe has got my back and I listen to my higher self. And so this journey has been one of amazing things like that sprinkled all the way through. And so I want to share some of those experiences, because setting an intention of how to connect with your higher self, the wisdom, your soul, all of those, whatever language you want to call it, setting the intention that you get clear messages that you cannot deny, is one of the ways that you can have the magic, right? And to actually just move out of just going triple numbers. A lot of people see triple numbers and they think, woohoo, I'm on the right track. And that's beautiful. But what about that next level? What about moving into the things, like when I spiritually woke up and freaked out thinking I was a witch, I went to the universe and said, I need some help. I want some support. I need validation. I need something to say that I'm on the right track here. And I went to the rainforest. I looked up into this beautiful, a star splattered sky. Say that 3 times or 10 times. Star, star speckled, star speckled sky. Oh my gosh, I should really delete that, but I'm not going to. This is me raw and real, guys. um, I went to the universe and it was in the middle of the night in the Daintree. And right as I asked that question, I got 3 shooting stars. That is a pretty big sign, right? Now, those shooting stars, I want you to just recognize this from a science point of view first. Those 3 shooting stars would have been going, like, dropping and shooting without me there, right? It's not like they just magically appeared. The whole thing is thousands of years old for them to die, and then, off they go and they fall into the sky, right? But look at the intelligence of the place, that I have this epiphany, this experience that makes me freak out and think, am I a witch? Oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? Who am I working for? And all of those things, because I had no idea. For me to have that moment, to process that moment for however long it took me, to go up to the Daintree, because, and even that was, I was meeting some people up there that were camping and they were going to come and pick me up. So they were already camping and they were picking me up from the river, right? So they're connected to it as well, because if I hadn't had that invite, I would not have been up at the Daintree. That very moment that I decide, I'm laying on top of my car and I slam my hand on the roof of the car and say, I want to sign like in the movies, and then get 3 shooting stars. Like that very precise clash between me and the universe. That's no mean feat, right? The same when I moved from Oleander Street to Oleander Drive. the same thing happened, right? The same sort of experience. I I'm going to share a few different things that have happened that are similar, because I want you to recognize that triple numbers are just child's play. You go to that next level. You go and ask the universe and show me whatever your language is. You may even call it God, right? And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Whatever your language is, show me the way. Show me a sign that I cannot deny that my soul is here. I'm connected to my soul and that I'm on the right path, right? You can do that. You can ask those questions, or you can declare that statement, and watch how your life starts changing. So the next time something like that happened, and this was a really cool one. So I was living up in Cairns, right? Now, for those that aren't in Australia, Cairns is at the very top. You know, when you look at Australia and you're looking at it on a map, on the right-hand side, there's this little peak, right? So Cairns is not all the way at the top, but it's pretty close. It's right near the edge of that, and it's a beautiful tropical area, and there's the Daintree rainforest there, the Great Barrier Reef. A lot of people know that area. That's where I lived for 17 years, right? And so I was living up there, got two young kids, and doing it hard, single mum. I was a massage therapist, and my ex-partner got a loan for a car. And I thought, oh my gosh, if he can get a loan for a car, I can get a loan for a car. So I went for a loan and I got the loan. I was absolutely shocked. And I was just starting out on this spiritual journey, and I'm like, wonder, I'm just going to call to the universe to get me a car. And, this is the time when we were moving from, windscreen wipers, windscreen, what do you call them? Windows being wound up to having automatic windows and automatic steering and all that sort of stuff. That was all relatively new. It had been in for a few years, I'd say maybe 5 years or something like that. But to little old Elizabeth that was doing it tough as a single mum, it was a big deal, right? So I wanted a manual car because I love manuals. I wanted automatic windows, automatic steering, and I think that was it. That's all. That's all I wanted for the first car. Anyway, I go to Sydney. So Sydney's in a whole different state. When you're looking at Australia, we're at the top here, go all the way down to, it's about, a third of the way from the bottom. It's in New South Wales. And I go down to Sydney. So I ring up my mum and I say, I've got some money and I want to buy a car. Well, her partner at the time his name was Raheem, is Raheem, should I say. And he was a mechanic, right? And she said, oh, Raheem might be able to help you. So I'm like, cool. So I go to Sydney and Raheem says, oh, I know someone that's moving back over to Pakistan that wants to sell his car. And me in my, I'm new to this whole thing, get super excited and like all chuffed and egoic and go, look how easy that was for me. And I was super excited. So I was supposed to see this car and get this car. In the meantime, I've got no car and I'm going from my mum's house in Blacktown to my brother's house, who was renting in Hurstville. Now, on the train, you go from Blacktown to Hurstville. The train line goes past a station called Rockdale. And Rockdale, you don't stop at on that train line. But for whatever reason, if I was on a fast train or a slow train, it didn't matter. Sometimes I'd be reading my book, sometimes I'm listening, sometimes I'd be, closing my eyes asleep. Whatever it was, every single time I went, and I'd say I'd gone about 4 or 5 times. I used to come down for a whole month when I was coming down at that time. I would go past, and every single time even if I had my eyes closed, I'd open my eyes as we went past Rockdale. I'm like, why am I seeing Rockdale? Like, it was just a thought. Wonder why I'm seeing Rockdale, right? So go and visit my brother. He drives me back to my mum's house one day, and we're going to see this car. And we're halfway there, and mum rings up and says, really sorry, Raheem's just rung up and said that guy has just met a beautiful woman at uni and isn't going to Pakistan now, and so isn't selling the car. So you can imagine my pain, the ego that gets damaged because she thinks she's so goddamn good. My ego plummeted, and I went, oh, bugger, I thought that I had that in the bag, right? I thought I'd already worked out how to manifest. My brother says, let's go home. We'll have a look on the internet. And we had a list of cars, and we started looking for some cars. And I'm like, nah, don't like that. Nah, don't like that. Nah, don't like that. And my brother David, who gets hangry when he hasn't eaten, gets to this point where he's like, I really need to eat. So I didn't realize, but we stopped at a cafe in Rockdale. We're sitting at this cafe. We decide to sit out the front, and I look up, and here's this car, this black Mazda 3 it was. Here's this car, and I look at it. It's got a for sale sign on it. It's got everything that I want in it. And I think it was my Mazda 3. No, I don't know if it was. Anyway, it was a car. And I'm not good with cars. And we ring up the guy. Well, we ring up the phone number, and it's the guy, and he goes, oh, this is my sister's car, and I never take it out. I'm just getting my hair cut. So it's really unusual that you've rung. So we do all the things, and we exchange paperwork, and we get them down $1,000 and all the things. And we exchange paperwork, and this is where the magic starts, right? So we're in Rockdale. The woman has, her last name is Raheem, right? Which is my mum's my stepfather, I suppose you would call him. My stepfather's first name. So she's got the same name in her name. She lived in Cairns Avenue, and I'm from Cairns. And we're in Rockdale. So then I show Raheem and go, look at this, check this out, blah, blah, blah. And he says whatever he says in Urdu, inshallah, or whatever he said. And he goes, the woman that I was buying the car from lived in the same block of units in the same suburb, in the same place, the same block of units as the guy I was going to buy the first car from. And he lived in 16 and she lived in 19. So even the 6 and the 9 had flipped over. So it was just one thing after the other, right? So Rockdale, Cairns, surname, same street in Lakemba, right? So it wasn't even anywhere near where we were. It was just one thing after the other. That car was one of the best cars I've ever had. It lasted for years and years and years. I had no trouble with it whatsoever. That's one thing. Another thing that happened to me, I went, oh, I know how to get cars. So the next car, I decide I want the same. I want all these things, manual, and I want a CD player in it. So I go to look for cars, and I can't find anything. I'm up in Cairns at this time. I was living up in the Tablelands and couldn't find any cars that I liked. And my friend was going down to Cairns, so we're an hour and a half away, and she's going down to Cairns. So we look at the newspaper, to see if we can find any cars that I can look at. I'll go with her, and she was going to the dentist. And so we're looking at cars in the newspaper, and I see this car ad, one of those little tiny ones, for Fox Cars. But the ad that was being advertised for is automatic, whatever. And I was like, nah. But it jumped out at me in the newspaper. So we're looking for cars, and I've got a bit of a list. she gives me the car when we get down to Cairns, and I start looking at cars, and I'm going to look at the first one on the list. And as I go, so I've looked at a couple with her and couldn't find anything. She gives me the car, goes to the dentist. I'm driving to the next car yard, and I see on the other side of the road Fox Cars, and I remember the ad in the paper. So I park on the side of the road, and this is on a main drag of Cairns. It's called it's actually the highway, but it's actually Mulgrave Road. And so I'm driving, and I park on the side, and I look over, and I see this car, and I just know it's mine. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was mine. So I go over. It's everything that I want except for the CD player. You know, they have the list on the window screen with all the things and the features and everything. So I buy the car, get home, and I think, well, you know, you can't have everything that you want. Well, I think it was a couple of days later, my son is sitting in the back of the car, and he says to me, Mum, what is this black box under the passenger seat? And lo and behold, there was a six stack CD player under the passenger seat, that even the car yard didn't know about, or it would have been on that benefits thing, right? So I'm gonna stop there because I've got others that I can share, but I've got 365 days of this. So I'm gonna keep some of them for another day, when I'm looking for something, looking for something to share with you. These are the things that can happen when you're in alignment with your higher self, right? With your soul's path. You can live in the magic. Now, I want you just to think about what happens when you're not in your alignment with your higher self. What generally happens? Generally, you go on a big, mangy rabbit hole, go down the wrong rabbit hole, and you have chaos happen, right? Things don't work out. Um, Life's really hard. You can't find your keys. Your glasses break. You talk to the wrong people. They frustrate you. You get every single red light, and you miss your turn off, and all of the things that happen when you're not in your lane and you're not connected to your higher self. All the things that cause your body to go into anxiety, frustration, stress, annoyance, anger, hatred. Some people even go that deep. All of those things, and they bring up all of the things from the past, all the memories from the past of when this has happened before. All of those things are just feeding off your nervous system and causing you to have a really low vibration. And it's a really horrible way to live, but that is the way most people live these days because they're so disconnected to their higher self, to their intuitive energy that is guiding them, their soul's guidance, that they're living in this chaos and everyone's doing it. So you just get used to it and you think that it's normal because it is. It's normal because everyone's doing it. But I'm telling you, there is a bigger and better way of living. And that is when you're really, truly connected to your higher self and you're getting this beautiful guidance and you're just flowing like flowing down the stream, on a unicorn floaty, and you're going waving at the crowd on the side of the road that are still waiting, in line, hot and sweaty, and wondering if their ticket's going to let them on the unicorn ride. It's not a very pleasant way to live. And I'm sharing this with you because there is so much more to who you are than what you're experiencing right now. If you have desires that you think are beyond your reach, I'm telling you that they're not. But it means putting effort in. It means doing the hard things. And that means stepping out of the muggle world, the social media, the phone doom scrolling, the all the things that distract you from really truly connecting in with who you are. And it's time. It's time. If you're watching this and you've watched all the way through this, then I know that it's time for you to really step in and take ownership of who you are, and start listening to yourself, right? If you need support with that, if you need someone to hear you out, jump on all of the links below, follow me on socials. I'm not going to be berating you or telling you bad things. I'm going to be lifting you up and supporting you to really connecting with your true self. Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, and I will catch you tomorrow.